Welcome, everyone. Hope you got here safely. Hope you guys had a safe couple days. Been kind of crazy. Glad everybody's here. The City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City will meet in a regular meeting in City Hall Council Chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, on Tuesday, January 27th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. I now call this meeting to order. If everyone will please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this night, these citizens, these board members, and all of our city employees and first responders. Give us wisdom, patience, and clarity as we go about our city's business. In Jesus' name we always pray. Amen. The pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I'll now establish a quorum. I'll have a roll call from my left, please.
Burns here.
Evans here.
Jacobs here.
Edwards here.
We have a quorum. Do we have citizens? If none, we will move on. Consent agenda, 6A. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Consider approving the following reports: December 16th, 2025 special and regular meeting minutes and the EDC November financials. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as is.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Burns second.
With a motion and a second, if no further discussion, vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7A, quarterly department reports. A presentation of quarterly department reports, including the city treasurer, Mickey Rainey, city secretary, Janet Diller, and city planner, Brittany Anderson, will take place. First up will be Mickey Rainey, our city treasurer.
Good evening. As I said in October, you would see a delay in financials due to us closing the year end. So I'm going to now give you the financial report ending September 2025. As of September 2025, the city has completed 100% or 12 out of 12 months of fiscal year 2025 as of September 30th, 2025. Some of the revenue highlights, increases we saw for the year. Our sales tax came in over by $206,000. Commercial permits were over by $77,000. Fines were over by $161,000. Revenues for 2025 came in above budget at 7.51%, which is $427,562. We did not move funds from the capital improvement account. We did not use the fund balance, and we did not use the general fund balance. So the revenue total is 107.51 for the year. The fund balance for fiscal year 24-25 is $260,922. If you add the prior year fund balance of $106,000 and the general fund balance of $9,298, that leaves us a fund balance of roughly $376 that you can decide if you want to move that into capital improvement fund mid-year or if you want to buy capital items mid-year. This was our revenues for the year. Our taxes was 72%, miscellaneous revenues was 8%, fines and penalties 6%, business and franchise taxes 6%, license and permits 4.7%, and then fees was 0.43%. This is my sales tax comparison for the year. Out of all 12 months, 3 came in lower than anticipated. Our expense highlights, the total expense is at 102.93%. Our expenses went over by 2.93%, which is $166,000, but those revenues covered that. These were the expenses for the year. The police department was at 36, fire 16, street department 12, building and code enforcement 5, administration 11, municipal court 3, parks 3, the city treasurer 2, animal control 2, city secretary 2, and then other departments would have been 4%. These were the ending balances for our special funds. And that is for the fiscal year, for fiscal year 2025. Now I'm going to report first quarter ending December 31st, 2025. The city has completed 25%, or 3 out of the 12 months for fiscal year 2026. Revenue highlights so far. Our sales tax is right at, we should be at 25%. Sales tax is 24.95%. Our electric franchise came in a little bit over. We're at 101.81%. That is an annual payment, so that's all we will receive from them. Our water franchise is the same. We received a little more than anticipated at 102.99%. And our commercial permits new are sitting at 66%. Our total revenue is at 27.32%. And this is the breakdown of revenues. Taxes, 68. Business and franchise fees, 20. License and permits, 4. Fines and penalties, 3. Fees, 1. Miscellaneous revenues, 0.56. This is a sales tax comparison for the first 3 months. These are some of our expense highlights. Our total expenditure right now is at 27.87%. We are showing a little high. We did have, we get paid bi-weekly, so October had 3 pay periods. You have to consider things like that in. Our quarterly fees are due during this time period as well. The police department is sitting at 32%, administration 15, fire department 13, street department 13, building and code enforcement 5, municipal court 4, debt service 3, parks department 3, city treasurer 2, city secretary 2, and other departments is at 3.95%. These are the balances for our special funds. And all of these reports are online on the treasurer website if you want to see all the detail. Personnel and open positions. These are our new hires. Police officer Nubia Carmona, police officer Odalis Garza, dispatcher Diego Miranda, firefighter Hunter Davis, part-time rec specialist Nicholas Rivera, and a part-time rec specialist, Wendy Waldrop. Our open positions for the quarter, we had 2 police officer positions, a level 2 operator position, and 1 dispatcher position. These are the anniversaries. Bradley Stevens has 4 years of service, Angela Smith 2, Janet Dillard 9, Michael Ward 5, LaDonna Brunson 5, Paul Lyons 20, Grace Wallace, 19. Dennis Weaver has 1 year. And we want to congratulate Leslie Greenwood. He retired in November with 26 years of service. Do you have any questions?
Questions for staff? If none, thank you. Great job. Next up, our City Secretary, Janet Dillard.
Thank you, Bobby. So shown here is an overview of meetings held over the past 3 months. There were a total of 14 meetings. Also included here are board vacancies. We have quite a few. The number of applications received since October totals 7. So the word's getting out, however, 6 of those were ineligible. They were either not in the city limits or not registered voters. So unfortunately, we had to turn them away. Here are 2024 and 2025 year-to-date numbers for open records requests. And then active bids and grant qualifications during October through December include your 2026 street materials, which Mike will be presenting later tonight, and then your FEMA hazard mitigation grant, which staff has reviewed and rated, and Angie will be speaking on this tonight. Here is a snippet of upcoming reporting contracts or agreements that are expiring in the next couple of months. You can see here highlighted are ones that are on tonight's agenda for consideration, and then you'll be seeing most of those others on future agendas. We have a couple elections coming up. First, the March 3rd joint primary election. Gun Barrel City is a polling location, and so here are the early voting hours for that. And then election day, of course, our chambers will be open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for voters. And then, of course, we have our very own local general election that will take place May 2nd. Open seats will be place 2, place 4, and the position of mayor. The period to file an application is open through February 13th. The website is updated daily during this filing period to give full transparency to the public on filing, so feel free to check it out if you have any questions. And then staff has been working diligently during our slow period to gather records whose retention periods have expired so that destruction of these records can take place in early spring. And more information on this will be provided as things progress, but this is kind of just a snapshot of what your staff is doing behind the scenes. And then lastly, supplement 2 of our Code of Ordinances was submitted in December. MuniCode has codified all ordinances through December of 2025, and the online content was updated January 16th, as you can see. We'll see an ordinance for this on the February agenda. And then Muni Docs is continuously being updated. This is an ongoing project that takes a lot of time. To date, uploaded are all minutes, resolutions, and ordinances dated back 10 years. And we'll keep working on that. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for staff? None? Great job, Janet. Our final department report will be from our city planner, Brittany Anderson.
Good evening. I'll be providing a quarterly update on the planning and development activity for Gun Barrel City for the months of October, November, and December. I'll walk through projects that were approved this quarter, projects currently under construction, and projects that remain pending or awaiting additional action. My goal is to give you a clear snapshot of where each project stands. These projects are currently pending and are awaiting additional action from the applicants before they can move forward in the review process. The 606 East Main Street subdivision preliminary plat and special use permit for a daycare facility is awaiting resubmittal. The Youth Activity Center site plan remains under review. The applicant has met with the city manager regarding the engineering development agreement and associated engineering fees, and we're currently awaiting their follow-up and next submittal. The dentist's office with the drive-through restaurant has completed a pre-development meeting. However, we are still waiting on the official site plan submittal to begin formal review. We received a site plan submission from Walmart Real Estate Business Trust on January 7th. Their first review by Mundo and Associates was received on January 20th. They are currently addressing those comments and will resubmit. Staff will continue to track these projects and work with the applicants as they move towards resubmittal. During this quarter, Planning and Zoning did approve 2 major site plans. The Hillsdale Phase 2 subdivision received site plan approval on December the 8th of 2025. This project has completed the site plan review process and is in the permitting stage. The Enrich Life Medical Center received final engineering compliance confirmation on December the 2nd of 2025, followed by the site plan approval by Planning and Zoning on December 8th of 2025. The applicant may now proceed into the permitting phase. These approvals represent significant progress in moving development projects throughout the city's review process. Hillsdale Phase 2 has progressed through several stages of review over the past year. The preliminary plat was conditionally approved in January, with the variance request denied in February. A revised preliminary plat and a variance related to stormwater drainage placement were both approved in July. The site plan itself was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission on December 8th of 2025, and at this time, the project is currently under construction. The 606 East Main Street property was annexed into Gun Barrel City in November of 2024 and rezoned to R5 in January of 2025. A preliminary plat has been submitted previously. A new submission was submitted December the 29th for the preliminary plat and special use for a daycare facility. This project was pulled from the Planning and Zoning agenda on January the 14th. The developers are currently working on the review comments from Mundo and Associates, and they will resubmit. The Youth Activity Center has received the required land use approvals to date. Planning and Zoning recommended approval of the special use permit in April, and City Council approved both the original and amended special use permits in April and May. A size variance request was also approved in July. The site plan itself is currently under review, and the applicant did meet with the city manager to discuss the engineer development agreement and the associated engineering review fees. At this time, staff has not received any additional submittals updates from the applicant. The project is currently paused pending the applicant's follow-up and resubmittal. Staff will continue to track the project and is ready to move forward once the required information is received. The Infinity Cove Luxury Motel has completed several major entitlement and review milestones. The 3-lot replat and the site plan have both been reviewed and approved. With the final approvals completed in April of 2025, the stormwater compliance for the project was completed earlier in March of 2024. The building plans have since been submitted and are currently underneath permit review. As part of that process, the applicant is coordinating with the fire marshal to address the required plan revisions. At this time, the city is awaiting the resubmittal of the updated plans so that fire can review and be completed and the permitting process can move forward. HTO received the site plan approval back May 22nd of 2025. The building permits have since been issued and construction is currently underway. The project is now in the active building and inspection phase, with inspections occurring as construction progresses. This project represents one of the developments that has successfully moved from planning review into construction within the city. I've also have the current construction photos on the next slide to show you the progress. And I believe that this, they are getting their sign approval for sign inspections, and then they will move forward to their final inspections to get their CO. Also, I included some updated photos for Pier 334 to show you the construction that they have completed as well. The Enriched Life Medical Center site plan was submitted to the city on September the 22nd of 2025. The project went through multiple rounds of engineering compliance review with the city's third-party engineer, Mundo and Associates, to ensure full compliance with the city ordinances. Final engineering compliance was confirmed by Mundo and Associates on December 2nd. Following the confirmation of compliance, the site plan was approved by Planning and Zoning on December the 8th of 2025. With the site plan approval in place, the project is now eligible to move forward into the permitting phase. And then I did include some events that we recently had outside of our normal duties, like the Christmas parade, Maybell's Toy Drive, the community center ribbon cutting, and the trunk or treat. And this concludes my quarterly update for the planning department. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for staff? Thank you very much, Brittany. You guys do a great job. Thank you, all departments. 7B, first quarter financial report. Consider and take action to approve the fiscal year 2026 first quarter financial report. Our sponsor on this will be our city treasurer, Mickey Rain. Do you have anything to add? Okay.
So you received the presentation earlier. This is the
Yes.
official approval of that quarterly report.
Yes. Any questions? If none, I'll ask for a motion.
I move that we approve the fiscal year 2026 first quarter financial report as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Evans, second.
I have a motion and a second. Vote from my right, please.
Edwards, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Evans, yes.
Burns, yes.
Motion passes. 7C, consider and take action to approve the 2026 City Council meeting schedule. Our sponsor on this will be our city manager, Dr. Smith.
So we've done this the last couple of years. It just allows us to work with you to schedule those meetings ahead of time so you can get them on your calendar. Janet can get them on your calendar. We do have one conflict with December the 15th. I know at least one council member that won't be able to be here. We could leave it on the 22nd if council is amenable to that, or we can move it to the 15th. We have one at the end of November. We then will have one at the end of January. We've just made a habit of not scheduling meetings during those 2 weeks around Christmas. So staff is open. We can approve this tonight and then make a change later. This is not locked in stone. It just keeps us every meeting from having to move dates because of voting and because of different things that are going on. In May, we'll need to canvass the election. So you can see there the 3 dates. We add one in May to canvass the election. We move November off of the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and then we traditionally have moved December outside of those 2 weeks around Christmas and New Year's.
Just a couple questions. So on May 11th, I guess that's normally a P&Z night, right? Is that right? Is that a Monday?
So we would canvass at 5:30 and then have the P&Z at 6.
Okay. So we wouldn't have any other May city council meeting then? No.
We would have our normal May the 26th.
Okay, so that
which is
was-
the one right below it.
Oh, I
That's
guess.
our normal meeting. We just have to add the May because we have to canvass.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a day, a specific day that we have to canvass. So we add that one. It'll happen in between probably Parks Board at 4, canvass at 5:30. It's typically a very quick meeting, and then P&Z would be at 6.
And I am the one that will not make the December 15th meeting, so we can change it, or I'll just miss that one. Or I can, it's whatever.
If we make a motion now, we're going to have a caveat to change that date, though. Is that correct?
We absolutely can change it at any point. We just
Okay.
try to get the calendar out in
Got
advance
it.
so there's no surprises.
Everybody good with that?
Absolutely.
Then I will ask for a motion.
I move that we approve the 2026 City Council meeting schedule.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
If no further discussion, vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7D, conduct board applicant interviews and discuss appointments. Again, our sponsor on this will be our city manager, Dr. Smith.
Mayor and Council, Ms. Dunson could not attend tonight due to the weather. Staff is asking to please table this until our next meeting. We will then bring back any additional applications we get for boards and commissions.
Then I will ask for a motion to table.
I make a motion that we table the board applicant interviews and I guess till next month.
Perfect, thank you.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Jacobs, second.
I have a motion and a second. Vote from my right, please.
Edwards, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Evans, yes.
Burns, yes.
Motion passes. 7E, consider and take action to enter into a publicity and tourism agreement with Texas Bass Nation to award a $5,000 sponsorship from the Hotel Motel Fund towards their 2026 state championship tournament in September of 2026. Our sponsor on this will be none other than Brooke Atkinson, our community engagement.
As Brooke makes her way to the microphone, they were slated to be here tonight because of weather. They were not able to come. Brooke is going to fill in for them and has a short presentation.
So, as she said, they provided us with some materials, so I took that and I came up with this presentation for you guys. This item, again, is to consider and take action onto entering into a publicity and tourism agreement with Texas Bass Nation for the 2026 Texas Bassmaster Open Team Trail State Championship. This event will be scheduled for September 9th through September 12th of 2026. It'll be located at Tom Finley Park. And this is a statewide championship event that brings qualified teams from across Texas to compete here in Gun Barrel City. Texas Bass Nation is requesting $5,000 sponsorship funded through the hotel occupancy tax. The request is structured through a publicity and tourism agreement, and the funds would be tied directly to tourism-related expenses associated with hosting the event. Texas Bass Nation provided us a breakdown of the expenses, which I have included in this slide. The requested funds would be used for specific items that would support the event and its promotion, which include marketing and radio, advertisements, videographer to capture and promote the tournament, sponsorship of the participant meal, and promotional efforts such as linking Gun Barrel City hotels to their website for participants, and as well as our city's website. These uses are intended to increase visibility for the city and encourage overnight stays. This is actually, this is the third year that they're wanting to come back. They've seen a steady increase to approximately 50 teams or 100 anglers to the area. And this number also does not include their family and their teachers and their staff and all of that, who typically travel with participants for a multiple day tournament. Based on prior events, and standard spending estimates, Texas Bass Nation projects an economic impact of approximately $88,500. This estimate is based on a 4-day out-of-town event, including lodges, food, fuel, and other local expenses. I provided the chart that they made to explain all of that for you guys in this slide as well. You guys, if Brent with Texas Bass Nation has offered to come to the next month's meeting if you guys want to table it for today, or if you guys are ready to take action, you can do that as well. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Or
Have we done this in the past for them?
yes, we have. Yeah, I think this would be our third year sponsor.
This is our third year. This is the adults, I believe.
Oh,
And then we
yes, yeah.
also sponsor the youth, if you remember. So the youth tends to bring many more kids, almost, I think last year it was close to 150 or 200 kids. This is their smaller, this is the adult tournament, but they do really celebrate Gun Barrel and work very closely with us. And they do get the fish back in the lake. They have a catch and release program. So this is the third year Gun Barrel City has participated, and we have given them a $5,000 donation out of Hotel Motel. And then the youth will come back, Britt will come back and proponent for the youth tournament as well, and a sponsorship out of that, so.
And will they do the weigh-in or anything like that in Gun Barrel besides the
They do
meal?
they do it at the pavilion, so they launch at Tom Finley. They do their weigh-in, and they really do advertise to stay in Gun Barrel City. They stay at short-term rentals, they stay at hotels here in town. And these guys really do have that data you're seeing is accurate data from the last 3 years they were here. They do surveys asking people where they stay, where they buy gas. If you're ever in town on one of the Texas Bass Nation tournament weekends, it is covered up with fishermen in their boats, and they're getting stuff ready. And so they do stay here.
CR Legacy Event Center, that'll be where they do.
That
their
is
award
typically
ceremony.
where they host. I haven't heard for sure if that's where they're going to do it, but they typically host their welcome dinner at CR Legacy. And then they fish several days, so.
I think that was in the schedule of the expenses. I think they had that at CR Legacy.
They're a
is
great
an-
partner to our local businesses. Our gas stations are covered up with boats that weekend, so.
Well,
The youth is always huge, and it's so much fun to watch the kids, but the adults is just as neat. It's just a little smaller tournament, so.
Well, and I think we're gaining a reputation, and correct me if I'm wrong, but our previous strategic meeting that we had with our EDC, this is one of the things we really wanted to focus on was the things that we're really known for, our lawnmower races, these bass tournaments, they're growing every year. I mean, we're getting a great reputation. It is a great source and a great secondary driver for a lot of the other activities we have here. I just think it's a great event, and I will acquiesce that the kids, I think we had 152 boats here last year.
There was
I mean,
a
it's
lot,
insane,
yeah.
and I know the VRBO next to me has been rented sometimes by those kids, and the amount of dedication and time and effort they put into it is really, really great. So I think any of the fishing tournaments and stuff are just only enhancing our ability for to continue to furnish a tax base that's great for us, so. Any further questions? I know Brooke is a very avid bass fisherman, so if you have any questions about bass fishing, Brooke would love to answer those right now. Brooke, why are you laughing? Okay, if that's not the case, then I will ask for a motion.
I move that we enter into a publicity and tourism agreement with Texas Bass Nation to award a $5,000 sponsorship from the Hotel Motel Fund towards their 2026 state championship tournament in September of 2026.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second. Second.
A motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7F, consider and take action to adopt resolution number R-2026-001, authorizing a professional service provider selection for Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Public Assistance, PA/Hazard Mitigation Assistance, HMA, programs funded through the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Texas Division of Emergency Management, TDEM, and/or Texas Water Development Board, TWDB. Our sponsor on this will be our city manager. I will first read into the record the resolution. Resolution R-2026-001, a resolution for the city of Gun Barrel City, Texas, authorizing professional service providers selection for Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Public Assistance, PA/Hazard Mitigation Assistance, HMA, programs funded through the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Texas Division of Emergency Management, TDEM, and/or Texas Water Development Board, TWDB. Again, our sponsor on this will be our city manager, Dr. Smith.
So as you all know, as part of the FEMA prepositioning grant management services we did at the last meeting or the one before, we needed to select an engineering firm to assist with these potential projects. There's no real project. It is slated on Henderson County and FEMA designating a disaster. And then this sets us up not to have to go out and do a 30-day RFQ process. If there is a disaster, in our community, we're able to very quickly jump on that disaster and address any issues that relate to that disaster, flooding, drainage. And so we put out an RFQ for an engineering firm. I believe we got back 4 different firms. Janet's shaking her head, yes. We got back 4 different firms. We had a scoring process. We scored those engineers based on their project experience, their experience working with FEMA, their experience in specific drainage projects, and staff recommended Schomburg and Polk, Inc., which is SPI, and they were selected as our partner. There's no expense to the city until there is an opportunity for a grant through FEMA. And so this firm is just used on an as-needed basis specifically for potential disaster dollars. And the way that works is FEMA designates a disaster, they give it a number, it's like a DR26 or a DR27, and then we can do projects around that based on damage we received from that disaster or that specific incident. And so we will just use this firm specifically. They have extensive experience working with FEMA, working with TDM, working with the federal government, the state government, and designing and seeing through to completion disaster recovery management projects. So we're asking council to approve that tonight. That then ties in with our FEMA pre-positioning with GrantWorks. So GrantWorks is constantly helping us watch for those dollars associated to any disaster that we might have. We're coming up on those spring rains, and we know how spring storms are, so we wanted to make sure we got all this in place quickly. And it is for us specifically with drainage. It works with our general land office $300,000 grant for our drainage plan. All of this ties together to set us up to ensure that we can address any issues we may have coming into the next year.
Any questions? 7F, consider and take action to adopt resolution number R-2026-001, authorizing a professional service provider selection for Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Public Assistant, PA-Hazard Mitigation Assistance, HMA, programs funded through the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Texas Division of Emergency Management, TDM, and/or Texas Water Development Board, TWDB. If no further discussion.
I was just going to ask, so the resolution, the resolution, I guess, list the SPI?
It does. In the resolution itself, SPI is spelled out. It's not in the header, but I did verify today that it is. There's a small chart down at the bottom, and it lists out SPI.
Okay.
If no further discussion, do I have a motion?
A motion to consider and take action to adopt resolution number R-2026-001, authorizing a professional service provider selection for Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Public Assistance, PA/Hazard Mitigation Assistance, HMA, programs funded through the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Texas Division of Emergency Management, TDEM, and/or Texas Water Development Board, TWDB.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Barnes, second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my left, please.
Barnes, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7G, consider and take action to adopt resolution number R-2026-002, authorizing the submission of a recreational trails grant application. Our Park Board member, Frank Vaughn, will be making a presentation. I will read first the resolution into the record. Resolution number R-2026-002, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, authorizing the submission of a recreational trails grant application. Frank Vaughn will now make our presentation. I will say this, our Parks Board has been, is really taken the baton and run with it, and the previous group was great, and this one is just as great, and I know Mr. Vaughn himself has taken a lot of time. I've sat in on some of these meetings, and is very, very knowledgeable about these grants, and I appreciate your efforts very much, Mr. Vaughn.
Oh, thank you. Yep, I did this, I worked for the city of Louisville for grants at a parks board, and I've never seen a city staff as responsive as this one. Because when I ask a question, I ask a lot of questions, they answer within one day. I mean, I ask in the morning, it's there. So they've been very helpful. Staff's been great. So we'd like to apply for a grant for the Texas Parks and Wildlife. What this will do is you put in about $15,000 in our funds, and we would get a grant for $50,000. So you get $64,000 to $65,000 of services for $15,000. So it's a bargain. And the idea is to use recycled asphalt and redo all the trails out of the park, because they're heavily, the ones that were done with decomposed granite, they're washed out. There's a lot of ruts, and it's not really safe or good to walk on some of those. And then the asphalt trails that are there are old and they're falling apart too. So this would replace 25,000 square feet of trail with recycled asphalt. And we would match by adding in a skid steer, using 4 employees, city backhoe, and the city compact roller. And we have to have the authorization from you guys to apply for the grant. And I will say we may not get this grant, probably 20% chance, but you keep applying every year, and eventually they see it, and then they come to you, and so we'd like your approval for that grant, and we got to do the grant application very soon.
Questions for Mr. Vaughn? Rankin, I appreciate you very much going to all this trouble.
Thanks.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we adopt resolution number R-2026-002, authorizing the submission of a recreational trails grant application.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Jacobs, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7H, consider and take action to approve an agreement with Noah's Paws Animal Rescue to hold adoption events in Gun Barrel City. Our sponsor on this will be our city manager, Dr. Smith.
So ordinance O-2019-012 requires any agency that wants to hold adoption events in Gun Barrel City to have an agreement in place with the city. We were contacted a few weeks ago by Noah's Paws Animal Rescue, and they are requesting one of these agreements. They want to work with PetSense for the adoption of cats. So PetSense has provided us a letter agreeing to work with this nonprofit, which was in your packet, and Stacy Dowd is here tonight from Noah's Paws Animal Rescue to tell you a little about their nonprofit. That's a mouthful. So Stacy, if you want to come up to the microphone, you've got a couple slides. Okay, whoever.
I'm Marcy McAlpin. I'm founder of Noah's Paws Animal Rescue. We service a 2-hour radius of DFW, but I live here locally, where I assist many in the public with spay and neuters, with just general care, be it medical care for some who can't afford that, or animals that are suffering. My most recent here was I picked up a puppy that was hit out here in front of the Sonic and took it to our vet because somebody hit it and kept going. I was able to find the family of that baby. I try in every way that I can within my means to assist the community as well as all the animals that I can. And allowing us to be a part of PetSense and have that adoption partnership with them will allow more spaces and outlets for us to adopt animals out that we take in. We currently have close to 200 in our rescue right now. And we have 6 other partnerships with other stores, be it PetSmart, some supermarkets, a cat cafe, and this will be our 7th partnership. So I would really appreciate if you would consider allowing us to have adoption events at the PetSense here in town.
Questions?
I have a question. I have two, actually. Where the animals, the cats that you adopt out, where do they come from?
They come from here locally. They come from anywhere, like I said, from a 2-hour radius of DFW. But I live here locally, so therefore I tend to help what is readily available at my fingertips that I can assist with. So, to be honest, they come from all over, but I do tend to see more need for help here locally than I do any other area.
Well, of course, we don't have an ordinance for cats, but they are here and there are abundance of them. So how do people get the cats to you from here?
A lot of times we pick them up. A lot of times I am assisting with overpopulation at one particular residence, and I go in. A lot of times I will spay and neuter them, and some are returned, and some that are friendly we can place for adoption. I don't live in Gun Barrel, but I do live in Henderson County, so I say here, meaning this area. But I live about 15 minutes from here. So therefore, I am contacted regularly for help and assistance with animals right here in Gun Barrel.
And is your rescue here, or is it also like in the Dallas area?
We are a foster-based rescue, so we don't necessarily have a brick and mortar, but I do have a property here in Henderson County. It's considered actually, it's a Maybank mailing address, Payne Springs. I have a second property that we do house. I have a 4-bedroom house that houses a bunch of the kitties. We do have a garage that sometimes will house dogs or ferals, and then we have separate fencing on the properties that we also house some dogs.
I know you said, I think I saw, or maybe read that you have like over 200 are in possession or something like that?
We have over 200 in the rescue currently.
Those are just random,
Well, we have
places?
we have fosters all over the DFW area, and then aside from that, we have them here, like I said, on my property, which is Payne Springs, but Maybank mailing address.
Gotcha, thank you.
I'll be happy to answer any more questions if
Further
anybody
questions?
wants to know anything.
Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
appreciate it very much.
Thank you
Do I have a motion?
for your time and hearing me tonight.
No, we appreciate you more than you know.
I move that we approve the agreement with Noah's Paws Animal Rescue to hold adoption events in Gun Barrel City.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Burns, second.
With a motion and a second, I ask for a vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you all so very much.
Thank you. 7I, consider and take action to reappoint Bradley Stevens as municipal judge for a 2-year term. Sponsor on this item will be, again, our city manager, Dr. Smith.
Judge Stevens is here if council has any questions for him. You saw earlier, he's been with us 4 years. He works amazing with our court staff. He's a joy to be around, and I know Judge Wallace really, really enjoys working with him. Judge Wallace had to run her college kid back to school today because they've decided they're having school tomorrow, and so she had to make an emergency trip to run a college kid that's been home for ice back to campus. But Judge Stevens is here if you have questions for him, and this will renew his agreement for 2 more years.
Questions for Judge? If none, I'll ask for a motion.
I move that we reappoint Bradley Stevens as municipal judge for a 2-year term.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
I have a motion and a second. Vote from my right, please.
Edwards, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Evans, yes.
Burns, yes.
Motion passes. 7J, consider and take action to approve an amended advertising sign ground lease agreement with Arrington Outdoor Advertising LP for the billboard advertising sign located at 1716 West Main Street in the amount of $1,800 a year for a 5-year term. Our sponsor on this, again, will be our city manager, Dr. Smith.
Mayor and council, there is a billboard right out here, out front, on city property that is owned and operated by Arrington Outdoor Advertising. I put a Google image down there so you can actually see it. It sits on city property, and what this is they have an agreement with us until 2031 to lease that piece of property. The agreement is in place until 2031, but we can, every 5 years, renegotiate the rate. We currently are receiving $1,250 per year from them. The city Secretary and I had a conversation with Arrington last week and kind of talked about what is the going rate. It hasn't been renegotiated since the contract started. And this amendment is a very simple amendment to that agreement that takes us to $1,800 per year for the next 5 years. I believe that Arrington will be back in front of you at a future meeting because they are attempting to take these billboards digital to see if there is a taste from council. That is not an agenda item tonight. Tonight is just amending this lease from $1,250 a year to $1,800 a year for, that they pay us for the space on our dirt in our parking lot, so.
Questions for Dr. Smith?
Motion to consider and take action to approve an amended advertising sign ground lease agreement with Arrington Outdoor Advertising LP for the billboard advertising sign located at 1716 West Main Street in the amount of $1,800 a year for a 5-year term.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Burns, second.
With a motion and a second, I'll take a vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7K, consider and take action to adopt ordinance number O-2026-001, calling a general election for May 2nd, 2026, to elect the following positions: Council Place 2 on the east, Council Place 4 on the west, and Mayor at Large to a 3-year terms each. Our sponsor on this will be our City Secretary, Janet Dillard. I will first read the ordinance into the record. Ordinance number O-2026-001, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, calling the general election for the election of a mayor and 2 council members to 3-year terms each for May 2nd, 2026, and establishing procedures for such general election. Again, our sponsor on this will be our City Secretary, Janet Dillard.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Included in your packet is an ordinance calling our general election for Saturday, May 2nd. The city does follow the Texas Election Code, and in order to comply with said code, an ordinance should be passed calling the election, establishing procedures, and designating polling places. The city does contract with Henderson County for our local election, so I've included just a couple sections here for you from that ordinance. And you'll notice listed here are the dates for early voting at City Hall, and then also the date of the drawing to determine the order of names listed on the ballot for opposing places. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Ms. Dillard? If none, I will ask for a motion.
I move that we adopt ordinance number O-2026-001, calling a general election for May 2nd, 2026, to elect the following position: Council Place 2 East, Council Place 4 West, and Mayor at Large to 3-year terms each.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. A vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7L, consider and take action to approve an interlocal agreement with Henderson County to conduct the city's May 2nd, 2026 general election. Again, our sponsor on this will be our City Secretary, Janet Dillard.
Thank you. As previously stated, we do contract with Henderson County, so included in your packet is an agreement for them to conduct our May 2nd election. The estimated total is about $3,500. And this amount can change based on other elections joining in, but this is about right.
Questions or discussion? If none, I will ask for a motion.
Move that we approve an interlocal agreement with Henderson County to conduct the city's May 2nd, 2026 general election.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
A motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7M, consider and take action to award bids for the 2026 street materials. Our sponsor on this will be our street superintendent, Mike Howell. Thank you, Mike.
Well, you know, every year we bid out put out for bid our street materials improvement of the roads. And this year, on my budget, I had $275,296 in budget. So what I've done is broke it down into to the different materials, like for our RK Hall, for the first chart there that you see highlighted, that's our pothole mix asphalt that we use to fix potholes and repair. We've allowed $20,000 for the year for them. As far as chip sealing, the chip seal, we are going to have a few roads done this year. We have $235,000 in that account there for that budgeted, and they, bar none, has won the bid for 57 cents a shot of chip seal, which includes a square foot of chip seal rock with tar. So on all the roads that we're going to do, they're going to be strictly residential roads, not the main thoroughfares or anything like that. The thoroughfares are going to be reconstructed with asphalt. So, and then our other materials that we have is King Sand and Gravel. They won the award for our base rock for our roads for the base, our wash sand, and then our playground sand that we use around the park and in different areas of the city at $36.50 a ton. And our hot asphalt installed for road reconstruction, complete reconstruction, is won by and awarded to Advanced Paving for $170 a ton, okay? So is there any questions? And we've allowed $20,000 for the King Sand and Gravel street materials also for the base rock and things like that.
Questions for Mike? If none, I'll ask for a motion.
Motion to consider and take action to award bids for the 2026 street materials.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Jacob, second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
7N, consider and take option to adopt ordinance number O-2026-003, amending Chapter 90 of the Animal Control of the Gun Barrel City Code of Ordinances. I would like to interject here and ask that we table this. I have been given some information by a gentleman, and I think it's very, very pertinent, and it's important information. I think we should take the time to look at this information much more clearly, have our city attorney look at it in much more detail. I know we want to get this right. It's been a very, very hot topic with everyone. Animals always are. It's a very emotional topic, but I think it's prudent for us as a council not only to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's, but when we get some information from a constituent that is pertinent and that is very, very important, I think we should take the time to take a look at it. So I would ask for a motion to table, and I'll open it for discussion.
I'll make the motion to table it, to have our attorney review the citizens' concerns, and so we can get a response on that.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Jacob, second.
We have a motion and a second. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion to table passes. 7O, consider and take action to approve Gun Barrel City strategic priorities for fiscal year 2026 and fiscal year 2027. Our city manager, Dr. Smith, will be our sponsor on this item.
This is just the formal acceptance of what we discussed at the work session. There was a sheet in your packet. Really what this does is allow me to, now we've spent a lot of time getting things in order, and now we get to start moving that football down the field. And so this allows both myself and your new EDC director to really take that and now work with our staff to set up goals that we can accomplish toward moving that ball down the field. So this is just the formal acceptance of it. The full sheet was included in your packet that had those outlined that we clearly discussed, that I believe council is on board with, moving forward with.
Questions? Discussion? If none, I'll ask for a motion.
I move that we approve Gun Barrel City's strategic priorities for fiscal year 2026 and fiscal year 2027.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, a vote for my vote.
Edwards, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Evans, yes.
Burns, yes?
Motion passes. Now moving to economic development. I would like to start this off. It was also brought to my attention by a constituent. When we had our strategic planning meeting, I won't speak for our director, Mr. Houck, but I'll speak for myself. I know we made some statements regarding how aggressive we're being in trying to collect as much sales tax revenue as we can for the city and keep moving forward. And I will also add that our current EDC board is a group of incredible individuals that have worked very, very hard. And so before we go any further, I want to just say that the statement that I was a part of, where I said that we needed a cash register on every blade of grass, that was a figure of speech. I did not mean that directly. What we meant by that was we want to make sure that we're maximizing our efforts with every little bit of square footage we have, that we're doing the best thing we can to bring in as much new business and help the current businesses thrive as much as possible. So there was never anything about taxes or anything like that. And if it was misconstrued as that, then I want to apologize for that statement. And I won't, again, speak for Mr. Houck, but I will speak for myself. And with no further ado, I've talked too much as it is. So now we'll move from economic development to 8A, consider and take action to accept the resignations of Jerry Rademacher and Linda Rankin from the Economic Development Corporation. And speaking on behalf of that will be our EDC Director, Charles Houck.
Yes, a pretty simple agenda item here. Jerry sent her resignation via email on January 2nd. I replied to that just thanking her for her service, understanding, her reasons for coming off the board in midterm on the following Monday, January 5th. Linda, same sort of situation. Her resignation was received via email on January 19th. I replied to that email. Both of those replies were forwarded to the city secretary, and Linda's was on January 20th. So we're just looking for an acceptance of the resignation of the city council.
Discussion? If none, I'll ask for a motion.
Motion to consider and take action to accept the resignations of Jerry Rademacher and Linda Rankin from the Economic Development Corporation.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Evans, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion on this, we'll take a vote. Please.
Sorry, she was coughing. I wasn't sure if you said right or left. Burns, yes.
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. Economic Development, 8B, second reading of resolution number R-2025-013, approving a performance agreement and project by and between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and LPLC Holdings, LLC, to provide financial assistance in an amount not to exceed $25,000. Our sponsor on this will be, again, our director, Charles Houck. I will first read into the record the resolution. Resolution number R-2025-013, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, approving a performance agreement and project by and between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and LPLC Holdings, LLC, a Texas limited liability company, to provide financial assistance in an amount not to exceed $25,000 for economic development purposes and providing for an immediate effective date. Again, our sponsor on this, our EDC Director, Charles Houck.
Okay, thank you. This first came, this incentive request came to the EDC board back in November. I think our meeting was, it's on the slide, November 25th. Then came to the council after approval from them on December 16th. State law requires 2 readings of the resolution into the record before approving the incentive. It also requires a posting in the newspaper for no less than 6 60 days before any money is expended. That posting was made to the newspaper on December 21st. And if, just take you back real quick to the project. This is the buildings at 410 and 426 Gun Barrel Lane. Same owner between the two buildings is going to pave the parking lot in asphalt and stripe said parking lot. His cost on that is going to be no less than $55,400. I talked to him last week, and that price has actually gone up quite a bit since then. However, the reimbursement grant, once he's completed the project and proved up his expenses, is not to exceed $25,000. And just asking for approval of the incentive and the resolution.
If no further discussion, we'll move to 8C. Consider and take action to approve resolution number R-2025-013, approving a performance agreement and project by and between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation, LPLC Holdings, LLC, to provide financial assistance in an amount not to exceed $25,000. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the resolution number R-2025-013, approving a performance agreement and project by and between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and LPLC Holdings, LLC, to provide financial assistance in an amount not to exceed $25,000.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
A motion and a second. If no further discussion, vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes?
Evans, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 8D, a second reading of resolution number R-2025-014, approving a performance agreement and project by and between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and Mosier Contracting, Inc., to provide financial assistance in an amount not to exceed $85,000. Again, our EDC Director, Mr. Houck, will be our sponsor on this. I will first read into the record the resolution. Resolution number R-2025-014, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, approving a performance agreement and project by and between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and Mosier Contracting, Inc., a Texas corporation, to provide financial assistance in an amount not to exceed $85,000 for economic development purposes and providing for an immediate effective date. Mr. Houck?
Okay, same process, same timeline. This incentive request was heard by the EDC board and approved on November 25th, 2025. I'm going to circle back to that. Came to the council for the first time in the first reading December 16th of 2025. Notice went in the newspaper also on December 21st, 2025. This is 235 Gun Barrel Lane, the old Eagle Auto Parts building. If anybody's been by that building, it looks a lot different than it did before Christmas. The site has been cleared up. The building's been gutted. He's already started a lot of work there. Obviously acquired the building before that. His total project cost is coming in around $540,000 of improvements. That includes the building acquisition for a showroom / sales floor for kitchen and bath remodeling supplies. There is a sales tax component to this. There's also a jobs component to the incentive, or to the business, I should say. Now, what I do want to get clear on the record is there has been a lot of discussion around the loan portion of this. It's an $85,000 incentive request / approval, so that number hasn't changed. What also hasn't changed is the board approved, and you all were made aware of, and now it's written in a performance agreement that was in your packet. The grant portion of this is a $10,000 reimbursement grant once $50,000 of expenses are proved up after the work's complete. The one that's been up for, the portion of this that's been up for discussion is the loan portion, which was a $75,000 loan. The dollar amount hasn't changed. The terms of the loan have changed, and it's changed. The genesis of the change revolves around the workshop discussions that we've had, and just clarity that I've been able to well, at least I think I have, from from the majority of the board and the council going forward. A lot of discussion at the board meeting in November around this. We had, Keith, you're going to have to refresh my memory. I know we had at least one motion that was made that failed the vote. It might have been two that failed the vote. What was approved was a $75,000 loan amortized at 5 years and 4% interest rate. Came back in December, again, after many discussions with the council and a few discussions with the board, that the recommendation I made at that December meeting was a 7-year amortization at 3% interest rate. That's what was approved, so to speak, when the resolution was read in the December 16th meeting. I'm just asking for you to ratify that recommendation for me in this incentive request and resolution. And I can answer any questions about that. Speaking of talking too much, Mayor.
No. Any further discussion on that? Then I will, if none, I will move to 8E. Consider and take action to approve resolution number R-2025-014, approving a performance agreement and project by and between the Gunbarrel City Economic Development Corporation and Mosier Contracting, Inc., to provide financial assistance in an amount not to exceed $85,000. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the resolution number R-2025-014, approving a performance agreement in a project by and between Gunbarrel City Economic Development Corporation and Mosier Contracting, Inc., to provide financial assistance in the amount not to exceed $85,000 as follows. And you want us to clarify it's a $10,000 reimbursement with a $75,000 loan at a 7-year amortization with 3% interest rate.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, to vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Okay,
Jacobs, yes.
Edwards, yes.
motion passes.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. I just want to make sure everyone stays safe, stay warm. I really want to thank our city staff. You guys did a wonderful job in getting information out, and I appreciate you very much. Chief Stevens, your group, their tireless work as always, but thank you again a lot for our fire chief and our police chief. Show great leadership, especially in times like this, and I want to thank you guys immensely for all that you do always, but especially during times like this. It doesn't go unnoticed by this council, and again, everyone stay safe, drive safe, stay warm, and this meeting is now adjourned.
And thank Keith Bond for spending his birthday with us.
Right? I didn't know you and Gilbert had the same